It's been a strange year, not just for the studio, but for me and for a few other people as well. And I don't think that it would have been so easy to do this role had it not been for Tom and Sophie. They have been absolutely magnificent all the way through. Their work is usually busy, but throughout this year, they've gone the extra mile. And, I'm just so grateful that we've got to the end of the year and we're still surviving and we're doing okay. So that's my first thank you. The second thank you is to the directors who've been very supportive in all the ideas that we've thrown onto the table, and actually come up with ideas of their own. It was Adam who came up with the idea of Black Lives, and really he's managed that all the way through. He's done an excellent job. But the biggest thank you has to go to members, because when you're a member of an organisation that offers a number of benefits and then has to withdraw them for various reasons of lockdown, you do run the risk that members will just say, this isn't for me, and will leave. And that's not been the case. I think the members have been incredibly loyal. So a big thank you to every one of the members who is with us and has been with us from the start of the year. To do a review of the year, you have to mention COVID, because it has been the dominant thing that's there in the background. We're closed at the moment. We were closed for 3 months in the first part of the year. But out of all sorts of bad things comes good things. And it did allow us to access funding that wouldn't have been available had COVID not been there. Tom worked very hard on one, I worked on another one, and we finished up pulling in enough money to be able to sustain ourselves through the year. We were able to carry out a total refurbishment of the studio. I'm not so sure that the three of us were really allowed to be in there during that time, but we were painting, we took the carpet up and we ripped through the floor. I'm still feeling vibrations in my arms from that bloody floor sander. But I think that what we've finished up with is a really nice studio now with new furniture, and it's a pleasure to actually sit in. Yeah, and I think that everybody worked really, really hard on that. And so lots of thank yous to everybody. Despite lockdowns, despite all the downside of things that we've had, we've still managed two big projects, and a third one that's on the way. The World Outside, where we got a lot of people contributing to that. I was getting copies of all the stuff came in, and I found it incredibly emotional. People's views on lockdown, people's views on COVID, what people saw, how people felt, was amazing. And so I thank everybody who contributed to that. It was great. And then Black Lives, the work involved in that, we started off not knowing what we were going to get. We knew that we possibly couldn't advertise as wide as we wanted to, and we started to get entries trickling in, and it really was a trickle. But I've got a friend who works for Notts TV, and she also works for Radio Nottingham, and I spoke to her, and we managed to get 2 appearances, if not 3, on Radio Nottingham, and we'd hoped to get about 60 or 70 entries, and we finished up in excess of 160 entries from all over the world, including an amazing entry from somebody in Iran who probably risked his own life writing that. And I was amazed, absolutely amazed with the quality of stuff that came through. I didn't read them all. It was too much for any one person to read them. We narrowed them down into different things. We cross-read before we decided what was the final ones that we would put through to the judge. And then I think we were quite pleased to back off a little bit and let somebody else decide who the winner was. But it was an amazing response to get that number. And some of those things you will hear tonight. And now we're working on a new one, Reflections. We have extended the deadline on that so that people can still put entries in. I've been bullied into doing one. And it's just, the only rules of Reflections are that you can't mention COVID and you can't mention lockdown. So to try and do something about Reflections of 2020 without those 2 things is going to be tough. but you can stretch it out. It can be reflections of anything that you went through too in 2020. So we hope that we're going to get a good response to that. I think the closing date is the first week in January. So there's time over Christmas when you're all bored to actually put pen to paper and write something. So yes, we finished up with 3 really good projects despite a very stunted year, and I'm delighted with the progress that we've made. We're not home and dry. We've still got more work to do next year. We're looking at a number of things. We've talked a little bit about things, and we will be talking again in the new year. But at the moment, things are looking good. So I'm delighted with the year as it's gone.